Hi, welcome to Big Sexy Chat. My name's Crystal.
My name's Merf.
We're so happy to have you back listening to us and involved in our community every way you can. We love you guys to pieces. And we're going to talk about some really interesting topics for today. First
We
of
are
all, we're going to actually cover the Ozempic topic. Ugh,
lots to talk about there.
jeez, I swear. But let's start with something fun, Murph. I want to tell everybody about our FatCon.
On.
It's going to be so much fun. If you haven't heard of FatCon yet, it's going to be in Seattle, January 7th through I think I wrote down the 5th through the 7th in Seattle at the Hyatt Olive 8 Doubletree in downtown Seattle. And we're going to be there in attendance, but also we have an extra special announcement to make tonight. We are going to be partnering with FatCon and Pucks Aplenty and their whole team. They have this amazing team of people creating this FatCon event for us, and it's going to be community in person. I can't wait, Merv.
Oh, I'm so excited. It's gonna just it can't not there's no way it could fail. It's so good to be able to get all of our folks together and just be in one space and have community. Oh, I'm so excited.
I can't wait to be around a bunch of other fatties. It's been a long time, it's been since, February 2020-ish.
Exactly.
I've had a few things here and there since then, but obviously, because fat people often are marginalized like other groups that are oppressed, and we often don't make as much money or have as good of insurance as other people. And that kind of did put us at a disadvantage for people who got COVID. And then, of course, the whole world was saying, if you're fat, you're going to get COVID, which wasn't true. There's just more fat people in the world, y'all. We're the majority. And so, yeah, I think that put us all kind of like on our heels, like afraid, scared shitless, right? To be out.
Yeah, everybody didn't want to interact. It was so scary because you didn't know. We didn't have that herd immunity where, you can get sick and okay, I'm not worried about the repercussions of what's coming. I'm not going to immediately die or end up in the
Yes.
hospital where the first couple years of that was really, really scary.
Remember when I went and got my first vaccine because I used my fat privilege?
That's right.
The only time in my life I ever got something extra or fun because I'm fat. But yeah, I remember I cried and I took a picture. The LA Times saw me and decided to write a story about why was I so emotional. I said, well, I get to use my fat privilege, first of all. It's a first. But I just felt so much fucking relief because the amount of people texting me and calling me, Crystal, you're fat. I'm worried about you and COVID. Thanks. I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It stopped a lot of the world. I mean, it
Yeah.
just in general, but really the focus was, if you're overweight, if you have diabetes, if you have and everybody just kind of, our culture just shoves all those things into one.
Yeah.
And so then it really just became this like attack on fat people. Like, oh, well, then it was like, well, who really gives a shit? Like people would say, like, I don't care if they die or,
Let them
then
die. They
yeah, it
have
was
no
like
willpower.
serious. Oh, we're gonna talk about willpower
We're
here
going to talk. I know.
today.
I'm sorry
Woo!
to tease that, but yeah. Yeah, it's going to be exciting to be in community, be with other fatties. I'm going to be very careful. I'm getting my vaccine on Tuesday. I can't
Yes.
wait. And like we reminded everybody via our Instagram, I believe, and Facebook, but if you are a person of size, you should probably ask for the longer needle.
Yes.
We get to get through our fat. And do you know where exactly the needle's supposed to go? It's not supposed to go into our muscle, is it?
No, I don't believe so. It's
Just-
just supposed to go into, the fleshy part of your arm,
Okay.
but I think because it doesn't get through enough of the layers if you're
Mm-hmm.
larger, then it disperses differently, and so they're saying that if you get the longer needle, you'll have a better disbursement of the medication through your body.
Yeah, I think I told you this before, but a lot of times the doctors and stuff, they don't bring the large cuff for me because they think that my arms aren't that big. But I'm like, have you seen the rest of me? I'm a large
Exactly.
person, okay? My arms might be slightly smaller than other people's, but they're still pretty big, man. Some guns. But I guess they're trying to be nice. Oh, but your arms aren't that fat.
Right, right.
Still pretty fat. You should see it shake.
Exactly.
I could knock you out with this little thing hanging here. My bingo wings. Got my bingo wings. Watch out, people.
I
So
love it.
anyway, FatCon, I plan to be vaccinated. I plan to wear a mask.
Yeah.
And we are so excited because we're going to get to help audio record all the fun stuff going on at FatCon. And there's so much stuff going on fun. You want to tell everybody about the fun stuff that's going to happen at FatCon that's not us related?
Yeah. So there are going to be some select vendors that will be they haven't been announced, but I know a lot of people are anxiously awaiting to
Yeah.
hear who's going to be there. But there's keynote speakers that will be there talking about various topics in regards to fatness, anti-fatness, all the things that we deal with, those kind of topics. And then they'll be having some fun activities in the evening. Lots of, sexy burlesque planned, for the
Yeah.
evenings.
Fat burlesque.
Yes.
Fatalesque, they're calling it. Yeah, Saucy, one of our favorites, one of our friends, she's gonna be there talking about she talks a lot about, size freedom. She created the hashtag fat and free, but Saucy is one of those advocates that are out there in the world taking on all the crap from the designers who don't make stuff beyond a size 4X. She's advocating for those of us who are on their larger side of the spectrum. I appreciate all of her work, and, she'll be there. Tigress is gonna be there from NAFA. A lot of Boutte is gonna be there.
Yeah, and, they just announced a sexologist.
Yes, I saw her.
I don't remember, reading her
Dr. Laura something or other. I know she's, certified. She's part of the ASECT
Yeah,
group, right? Yeah, she looked pretty badass.
yeah, I'm
Me
excited. Ooh,
too.
I'm gonna
Me
get to
too.
talk to all these people and interview
Yeah.
them, and it's gonna be a really fun, event, and so I know that not everybody has the means, but there's a couple months if you can save up
Mhm.
and get a ticket out there, it's gonna be a really awesome event, and I think one of the things that I thought was so interesting and, you can speak on this a little bit more, Crystal, because you have a little bit more, background on it, but, this is, like, one of the first cons for fat people. I know there's another one happening, I
Philly.
think right now or
Right now,
very
yeah, in Philly, yeah.
so, I mean, this is new, and this is something where, in our space, whenever I talk to, staff or something like that, I'm always like, "If it's something new, you gotta try it out and see if you like it, because if you like it, you gotta participate." And
Right.
that's the way those things continue and grow and get
Yep.
bigger. And so, yeah, if you have the means, please come out because we wanna meet you and talk to you, and we want you to experience what community is like in person.
And we wanna hug you, but with consent, enthusiastic consent only, but
Yes.
I can't wait to hug all my fat friends.
I know, it's
Fatties
gonna
give great hugs.
yeah, and the hotel is
I
fancy.
know,
I
it's
was
gonna be
like
really nice. I can't wait
yeah,
to take over the hotel with all those fat people. Oh, and we're gonna have brunches, and they have speakers, and they have panels, and yeah, I mean, Tigress is gonna be there, which is just amazing. She's the chair of NAFA, and then, I guess they haven't announced all the other keynotes yet, but a lot of
yeah,
our friends are gonna be there, and I'm sure some of our friends will be sponsors there too, so, that's gonna be really exciting, and yeah, we get to go everywhere. We get to, audio tape and possibly also videotape, record, I should say, not tape. There's no such thing as tape anymore, is there?
I know.
Anyway, you know what
No,
I
but I
mean.
I know what you mean. The
Record,
millennials and older will know
right.
what you
Yeah, it's important to Pucks, who's the creator of this event, to have a record.
right,
Because a lot of the records of things that we've done as fat community have either been lost or not recorded at all. They call NAFA one of the first ever recorded, like they put that word recorded of record, of a organization for fat people, and they're
yeah,
52 years old or 53 years old now.
absolutely.
But she's,
Yeah,
there's been a lot of other people before and after that just hasn't been,
right.
fully documented.
Absolutely, and I think part of that too is that, we've been marginalized and and that's one of those things where people don't it's hush hush, it's secret, it's not out there, it's not, a part of the zeitgeist, and now we get to be like, "Psh, kick in that door, we're done, like, we're recording everything, we're putting it out there, we're if you can't make it, you're gonna at least be able to hear it."
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, we're excited to meet Pucks too. None of us have ever met Pucks in person, but they have an amazing team. They have an amazing vision, and It's going to be just, oh, so exciting. And don't forget, if you get on Southwest Airlines newsletter, you get informed when there's sales first. And they just recently had a 50% off sale. So, I love flying Southwest because they have that person of size policy that we talked about in our other episode. The fear of flying while fat is real, man.
Mm. Yeah, and, we get that it could be a really scary process to get there, but once you're there, it's gonna make up for whatever has happened in that process to get there.
Chairs that fit us, beds that hold us, restaurants that are ready for us, hotels that are ready for us. It's amazing what Pucks is pulling together. And also, I'm sure the event in Philly was amazing too, because they also had an amazing team and just, yeah, it's going to be so excited. So anyway, we want to let everybody know we're just finally kind of announcing that for the first time that we're actually going to be a strategic partner with FatCon, and Pucks invited us to fully record the whole entire event. So watch out for us.
We're there.
Yeah, buddy. So
Hey,
Merf.
just really
Yeah.
quick before we do that, where would they go to learn more?
Oh,
Because if
yeah.
there's 2 FatCons, I'm just
Mhm.
curious, like, if you type in FatCon, is it gonna take you to that one or
So it's fatcon.org, and
or
they're using the hashtag the FatCon. And we do have a link, and I just shared it on our Facebook page. We'll continue to share our link on our Instagram. I'll put it in our newsletter that's going to go out tomorrow morning, and always on our social media. So if you want to go find our link, you can go, get directly there. But yeah, it's fatcon.org right now, and that's their website. And then their hashtag is the FatCon. So, and it should be pretty easy to find because if you just look up the one that's in Seattle, because there's only 2 right now, ever.
an East Coast and a West Coast?
Exactly. And I have a feeling there'll be a mix of people from both. I think there'll be some overlap too, which will be lovely.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
I want to talk about the hot topic of this week. And I know,
Hot topic.
man, this topic, we're going to talk
It's
about Ozempic.
it's growing every day. There's a story about Ozempic.
Oh, Lord, I tell you. And I mean, I think I will always support anybody that's taking it for diabetes. I will always protect and defend and stand up for anybody that's taking it because, they have a medical reason. Do I feel like you have agency and autonomy of your own body? Absolutely. If you take it for other reasons, but I'm probably not going to be, I probably won't be the person back there, defending you because it's made for diabetes. And if you don't have diabetes, don't take it out of other people's veins, basically, They
Mhm.
need it. Diabetics need it.
Absolutely.
And I know
It
you have experience with it.
I do. So, I have polycystic ovarian syndrome
Oh, yeah.
and, endometriosis
It's
and
also it's also prescribed to people with PCOS, right?
yes, and so, one of the things I have insulin resistant PCOS, and so, I'm always teetering on those numbers, and so, my doctor was like, "Will you try this as a option to bring down your numbers?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm willing to try it." And I can't even begin to tell you the uncomfortable intestinal issues that
Yeah.
occur. You're
Okay.
constantly bloated, you're constantly gassy, but it's, like, painful gassy.
Oh,
It's not
yeah.
like, just like, "I gotta fart." It's just like it's building and bubbling up inside of you.
Up
So
here
yeah, and so
in
you
your
just feel
chest and stuff.
yeah, you feel uncomfortable. You definitely don't want to eat. Like I was like, even just I don't eat a lot, but I would just be like, no, I'm just not, I'm not hungry, or I don't even want to eat the standard meal that I would normally have. Um, and it would make like then it would just be like random diarrhea or random, like you're just like, what is going on? So I was like, "Okay, this is pretty uncomfortable," but I've taken metformin before, and it's kind of similar in the sense that your body has to get used to it, right? So I'm
Mhm.
like, "Okay, I'll give it some time." So I did it for a month and still was not happy, and then, my doctor was like, "Well, let's go up. Let's up the dosage, right? And this is good. Your numbers are coming down. This is nice. Let's keep going." So I took the next step up in dosage, and I vomited for 11 hours.
Oh my god, Merf.
Then I have muscles that I didn't even know existed because I was vomiting so
Oh,
much.
that's painful. Wow. When you say your numbers were getting better, what does that mean?
They were dropping. They weren't in that high level of pre-diabetic. It was more like just getting into the standard levels of, like, what a person's sugar should be on a regular basis. And so, um, once that happened, once I had the vomiting fit, I
Shit.
basically was just like, "Okay, let's get through the rest of this week and hopefully not vomit." And and I did, and then I was like, "I can't do this anymore." I was terrified to do the next dosage because my body was just recovering from the week of being sick, and so, um, I stopped taking it, and then she said, "Let's put you on Mounjaro," and, just horrible, horrible pain, like,
Same.
it felt like I got hit by a big rig, like, my
Oy.
body was just like, I couldn't move. It felt like when I had COVID and, like, your whole body aches and
Oh,
hurts, you can't, like, it just you felt so tender, and so I just said, "This is not for me." Here then, I'm, like, seeing what we're gonna talk about next, which was, like, all the problems that come with it. I was like,
mhm.
"This is not worth this. I need to stop this." So, that was the end of my trial run with those drugs. I know
Did
you've had an experience too.
did you, like, have DTs, or were you able to just taper down, or how did that work?
Yeah, so basically, because you take the shot once a week, and so you have about 30 days after you stop taking it for it to get
Oh,
out of your system, and
wow.
let me tell you, it really does take the 30 days.
Does it?
It
Wow.
really does.
Huh. So, you inject it into your like, your body, your belly, your leg, or something like that, and
Yeah.
then it's supposed to it's a for a week, you said, right? You take it 1 week at a time, and then do you, like how do you know when to, like, go up or down? Your doctor kinda guides you that way?
Yeah, your doctor guides you that way. They kind of see, like, how your body's tolerating the side effects or the symptoms, and then also, like, how aggressive they have to be. So, like, I know people that have started at, like, 2.5 milligrams instead of,
Oh,
the point 0.5, it just depends on where they see you being the best at. But there's no way. I went up to, I think it was a point 0.5, so I went up to 1 with the Ozempic, and that's when I was just vomiting nonstop.
wow.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry, what a shitty thing, jeez.
Oh,
But, if you read everything, you believe it's just like it's like the second coming, and people are just so excited because they are
oh, yeah.
I guess they're losing weight, and some
I have
people
a
s
very
some people don't lose any weight at all, though.
Right, I wasn't. I lost maybe a pound, maybe 2 pounds in the month that I took it, and my doctor sold it to me like, I'm ready to get a different doctor. We've had this conversation. I live in a very small town,
Yeah.
very few doctors to choose from, so everyone's fat phobic. I've been through most of them. Uh, but she was just like, "You're gonna lose so much weight. This is the new gold standard. This is gonna take over from weight loss surgery, and everybody's just gonna be on these drugs for the rest of their lives, and it's just gonna do amazing things for you, and if I could take it, I would take it, but I'm not obese, so I have to wait until it's down in price because right now, just to get it over the counter or whatever, like the cost out of pocket is like $1,500, and I'm not going to do that. But oh man, when I can, I'm going to jump on. And I'm like,
Is your
what?
doctor even fat?
She used to be. She had weight loss surgery,
Oh, well, there you go.
so she's chunky, but she's not. She will. She isn't what I would. She's a small fat.
Can you
I would.
can you have had weight loss surgery and take this crap?
I have no idea.
That sounds I mean, they both sound frightening. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of pressure from my doctors. They really want me to go on it because my first of all, if you don't have diabetes, then you're pre-diabetic, okay? I don't care who you are. I don't care what your A1C is. You either have diabetes or you don't. But I know everybody wants to talk about this fucking pre-diabetic bullshit. And they don't like my A1C because my A1C just starts like bouncing between like 6.8 and 7.2. They want it to be below 6, I think. Once
Mhm.
you go over 6.9, you're considered diabetic. Like, okay, okay. And then I'm so afraid. I'm scared shitless to take it. But I know some people really love it. I hear a lot of people say how it quiets down the food noise in their heads
Mhm.
and they don't feel as obsessed about food. But oh, all the other side effects and the things. How long this drug has been around for about 10 years, right?
I'm honestly not sure.
It's not enough. It's not enough research. It's not enough. We need
It really
more.
doesn't feel like I mean, it really doesn't feel like it has it gives me fin vibes,
Totally. Exactly. Yeah.
where
You have to
there's
be old
like
enough to know what that is, though.
yeah. So basically it was legalized meth that they prescribed and people started hearts started exploding. And then having aneurysm basically in their heart and all those kind of things. So
Jesus.
they pulled it from the market. And this is giving me those kind of vibes
Big
seeing what's
time.
coming.
Yeah.
They've got issues with stomach paralysis.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's becoming a big
Is
thing.
that the gastroparesis or whatever? Or is that something
Yes.
different? Okay.
And then, there's a new one, there's a new class action lawsuit against Ozempic for, intestinal blockage. So it's basically creating an intestinal blockage because
Ugh.
the food doesn't completely digest from what I understand, like, I don't know, and then you got the complaints of Ozempic, but for the people that really are losing a lot of weight, it's just that it's coming off quickly and they're not, exercising those muscles, and so you have loose hanging skin, and the response has been like, "Oh, you don't want Ozempic butt," or "You don't want Ozempic face."
Yikes.
Yeah.
That's frightening. I don't
It's yours.
understand. Um, yeah. So the other thing that scares me about taking Ozempic is I take an antidepressant and an anti-anxiety medication. And I've been reading that people, I mean, there's a million reasons why I'm afraid to take it, but this one is one of the big things I talk about a lot because I feel like the reason why people have when they have weight loss surgery and they become depressed, or even, I hate to say this, I know people, it triggers people, but sometimes people consider harming themselves or worse, and because they're weight loss surgery, a lot of what happens in your brain happens in your gut. So if you're not, those enzymes and stuff can't do their thing, like maybe you've had 90% of your stomach amputated, your body can't do all that stuff that your brain needs for your good mental health. And I'm worried if I took Ozempic, what would happen to how would my still antidepressants and anti-anxiety medication, would it work correctly? I don't think so. Does anybody know? I don't think so.
Yeah, well, a really famous influencer, Selena Spooky Boo, did a whole talk about it because she was
Yeah.
on it and said she had to get off of it because she was basically at a hotel and was like, maybe I should just jump right off of this top
Yeah.
floor building,"
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know?
Mhm.
Like, she was kind of like, "Whoa," and then started recognizing that those intrusive thoughts got a lot worse from the Ozempic. And I think that it just hasn't even if it has been around for 10 years, it hasn't been studied in the way that
No.
it needed to be, and that's something that really is concerning for me because you were sharing, that the community that built the medication where is it, Denmark?
Yeah.
Like, they're advancing, like, and building the city because that's where the home base of this drug's at, so they're getting money hand over fist,
Gross.
and it's like, what's gonna happen when something like Fin, like, it's coming, it's
Of
coming.
course. Of course.
You're already starting to see the class action lawsuits from
Mhm.
Ozempic, especially when it comes to people that are using it in a way that it's not supposed to be used because
Right.
they're not diabetic. It's going to happen, like, there's the downfall of this miracle drug, um, is going to be significant, and it's gonna impact a lot more people than just the fat community or just the diabetic community or, it's gonna have repercussions.
Hollywood's screwed because they're all taking it. I mean,
Yeah.
remember they were having Ozempic parties? Oh, that's really cute. Yeah, people need it to live. It's a fucking drug that diabetics need to live, and you're having parties because you're 5 pounds overweight, and I mean, I know Hollywood's like a one big eating disorder, but pisses me off, like Mindy Kaling and, oh, Elon Musk, and man, you don't have diabetes, please don't take it. I just or insulin resistant PCOS, if you don't like, that's don't just take it for weight loss. It's so rude. It's so sad. And if you're Howard Stern, he'll be I know. He's gonna be sad if there's no fat people because how is he gonna feel morally superior from now on?
Uh,
Oh,
yes, it's Howard Stern, well, I listen every once in a while to
me
Howard Stern.
too, yeah.
And I think that he's come a long way.
Yeah.
Um, but he most recently in the trades said, I have, the willpower to
Yeah.
be thin.
Mhm.
And I don't need this Ozempic stuff, and anybody who's taking this Ozempic stuff to be thin, it's bad on you because you don't have the willpower. The man eats the exact same thing for breakfast every single day, and, it's like I get 2 almonds as my snack, and I get so he's not living his best life. He's telling you that he is because he's thin, but he's miserable, and it comes from him and his entire family basically having, shoved that down him and his
Yeah,
sister's throat.
right.
But, I digress. It's so interesting to me that, there's this bickering back and forth of, like, who's a good fatty and who's a bad fatty,
Right.
who took the magic pill, who didn't take the magic pill, who did the easy way out with weight loss surgery, who didn't,
Yeah.
the competition is ridiculous.
I've heard a lot of people go on Ozempic and don't tell anybody in their life that they're on it
Yeah.
because they're embarrassed to
Oh,
be on
it's
it.
like, shameful to say that they're doing it.
And there's
I've
no
had
there's no easy way out. I don't care what even weight loss surgery, I don't consider that easy way out at all.
Not
God,
at
no.
all. The
Jesus, no.
repercussions that come from that.
Horrible.
I have a friend that I was recently speaking to about weight loss surgery, and, um, they didn't do the work, the mental work that it takes to address how drastically different your life is going to be, and, it's that whole, like, "I just need it now, the fix is now,
Mhm.
and I'll deal with all the other stuff later," and I
Right.
think a lot of people are going into Ozempic thinking, I just need this now and I'll deal with all the repercussions later, not knowing that those repercussions may end up killing you.
Howard said, "I just hate that I have the willpower to be thin. No, I just love that I have the willpower to stay thin." Isn't he like 6'4"? I'm gonna guess his genetics keep him that thin. I mean, why
Absolutely.
can't people believe if so I'm sure you know people like this, "Oh my gosh, no matter what I eat, I can't gain weight. I'm tall and thin," and, they're all willowy, and then, "I eat so much, I still can't gain weight no matter what I do." Then why can't people believe the inverse? Like, I don't I don't eat that much, and I gain weight. Like, I can look at food and gain weight. I don't really eat that much. I mean, sure, certain days I have more. I might go, like, have dessert or have dessert at lunch and dinner. I That would be, like, my craziest, I mean, I don't know. I don't eat that much, but my body doesn't change because these are my genetics. My people all look like me.
Yep,
We have the same bodies. Not like Howard. There's nobody in my family that's blood related to me that has a body like Howard Stern.
exactly. And if you see Howard Stark's family, they all look like him. It's but there's this concept of moral reckoning
Yeah.
that I'm better than you are because I've suffered. And he talks about it all the time about how he only eats a bagel and
I
it
know,
has,
it's so
a certain
sad.
stuff, and it's like, "Okay, man, like, your whole life is around that, and you talk about it all the time, like, that's no way to
Obsession.
live your life." Like,
I
exactly.
don't think so. I would rather be fat, honestly. And I
Right.
mean, I love being fat, honestly, but I don't worry about what I eat. I eat whatever I wanna eat, I eat what makes my brain feel good, honestly, and that's things that make my brain feel good are things with protein, things with fiber, and I really love vegetables. I do love dessert. I'm not afraid to admit that. Uh, I feel sorry for people that don't have dessert and think they have to be good, they have to jog to eat dessert. I'm like, "Oh, that is so sad. Just have
Right.
dessert, God." Have to punish themselves, but I I get so sick of people posting on social media about their diet and their exercise, like, why do we have to know that every time you exercise? Like, I'm gonna start writing down when I have a bowel movement and see if they're interested, because 'cause I'm not interested in their fucking exercise regimens. Like, people tell me, "Well, I do that for accountability." I'm like, "Okay, I guess, but
Yeah,
why do we all have to know? Like, you do you. Do exercise as much as you want to, but why do you have to tell everybody all the time?" Ugh, I get so sick of it.
I know, and I think things like this, like Ozempic, just perpetuate
Oh,
that
big
problem.
time, yeah.
I've seen a pretty large influx in my, friend group of people doing, like, before and after photos
Ugh.
or, getting weight loss surgery or, "I'm taking Ozempic and I'm losing so much weight," or, it's just like,
Merf,
"Whoa."
if you're doing this because you say, "I'm having weight loss surgery for my health," or I'm taking Ozempic for my health," why would you need to post a before and after picture? That's kinda
Tell me
says
tell
to me
me
it's just about your appearance.
Tell me it's about your health while you sit there and take a million selfies and, "I'm in a large now instead of an extra large," or whatever it may be, you know? "I have the willpower," just like
Suddenly.
Howard said, right?
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, it doesn't make much sense to me, and it's really sad because I think people just lose sight of how much that impacts the other people around them, you know?
Well, they were raised in the same world we were raised in, which is the worst thing you could possibly be is fat.
Yep.
They were all conditioned to believe that that's the worst thing. I'm sorry, but no, that's not the worst thing. There's way worse things than that. Like to be racist or a pedophile or an asshole, I don't get it, but I do feel like a lot of people feel like they are morally superior because they exercise more or they eat less or they think they eat better than I do. And I'm like, yeah, okay. And now sometimes I'll ask my friends, can we stop talking about we're going to be good and have dessert? Like, if you can't have dessert for whatever your fucking reason is, could just maybe not say it out loud?
Yep.
Because others of us want to have dessert or we want to order something decadent and we don't want to be judged by you. If you're judging us, go ahead, but just keep it inside
Like,
voice.
I've come to the point where I'm basically like, "Don't shit on the table."
Thank you.
Like, that's what you're doing, you're shitting on the table,
Mhm.
and the rest of us have to sit there and look at the shit, and
Right.
none of us wanna look at the shit,
Yep.
like, keep it in your ass or take it to the bathroom, none of us want you to shit on the table,
I'm gonna start using
but
that.
it feels like that's what people want to do because there's this constant need to be validated for
Constant. Yeah.
trying hard to not be something that, you're gonna end up being, like, you're not stopping that, like, you stop Ozempic, guess what happens?
All the
It's
weight.
just like every other thing when you with weight loss. It all comes back
And
and
then
more comes
some,
along with it.
the rebound.
Exactly.
Murph, this might be too personal, I don't know, but did you feel like mentally well when you were taking it? Did you feel anything that was different at all?
I did notice a lot more intrusive thoughts,
Mhm.
where I struggle with my OCD, so,
Mhm.
intrusive thoughts happen, quite
Yeah,
regularly for
yeah.
me, but they definitely became a bit more intense, um, and I think part of that also was just because I really didn't feel good.
Mhm.
I mean, I would just like, I'd wake up in the morning and just feel like almost like, somebody had pumped me full of air in the
Ugh.
middle of the night, and I just would be uncomfortable and just like, "What is this?" I would eat nutritious meals where it felt like, "Okay, this was good, and that was enough, and I'm good," it's not like I was sitting there overeating or eating really greasy food or
Yeah, yeah.
something that's gonna, like, upset my stomach. It was just the medication.
People, like, shit their pants and stuff too, just like they do with weight loss surgery.
Yeah,
They're just like, "Oh, just can't control it." Like, you can't that's why some people don't even leave their house because they have that kind of, like, explosive diarrhea that they're afraid to even leave their own home toilet.
absolutely.
Oh, that sounds
I'm
terrible.
I'm telling you, the running to the bathroom and the just feeling sick, it's like, if you can tolerate that on a daily basis I have a job, so, having to, like, go to meetings and I'm sitting there thinking like, "Oh my god,
Shit.
am I gonna just, like, barf on everybody right now?"
Oh, yeah.
I don't know how people do that regularly, and I can't imagine being so unhappy with myself that I would take it to any means necessary to do something like that.
In case people don't know, who don't know what intrusive thoughts are, I'll give an example of one that I used to have before I got my medication, which was talking to the people that I love the most, Murph. Like, I love these people. And the whole time they're talking to me, all I can think is in my brain, will you shut the fuck up?
Yep.
And I told my psychiatrist, she goes, oh, Crystal, no, that's not good. I go, I had a feeling. There's only a
Yeah.
couple people that I really, really love, and I'm just like, God damn it, will you shut the fuck up? And she's like, yeah, you shouldn't feel that way. That's an intrusive thought, right, Murph?
That is, and to give you a bit more of an extreme,
Yeah.
intrusive thought, um, when I was on Ozempic, I remember driving home and there was a pole, on the side of the road, and I was just like, "What if I just slammed my car into that?"
Yeah, that's not you.
That's not me, and,
No.
and just like, "Ooh, that felt really uncomfortable," because then your brain goes to this really graphic image, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So that's what an intrusive thought is. It's something where your brain basically doesn't have a filter,
Oh.
and it says, "Go, go, go, like, do it, do it, do it."
Mm-hmm.
And so I could see where that could be really scary with for somebody who doesn't have coping skills
Yeah.
to be able to regulate that and say, "That's not good."
Yours is very similar to Celine's then.
Yes, yeah,
She's so
yeah,
freaking adorable.
she is.
We need to share her info and her YouTube and her with her and her husband. I think they're so great. But
They are.
she's a fun to follow, I think, on social media. Oh,
I
Merf,
agree.
so no more Majerno, no more
Nope, no
Ozempic,
more
you're out of
Madonna.
that business.
I'm going to see my doctor, at the end of the month this month, and so I'm sure I'm gonna be told I'm a bad fatty for, not trying it, and then I'm sure we're gonna try, like, the whole well, I'm not gonna try it, but she's gonna try to sell me on, like, Wegovy or whatever the other there's, like, 4 of them, 'em, aren't there? So she's gonna I'm sure gonna try to sell me on one of them, but I'm just gonna be like, "We're done. I'm not doing this. It's not worth it to me."
Yeah, it's not worth it. It's not worth well, first of all, the intrusive thoughts alone is reason enough not to do it ever again. But yeah, it's so new. It's just so new. I do know people that have had great success with it that are using it for their diabetes and like they just, lost 40 pounds. They're still, 300 pounds, but they just came off of it. They weren't trying. They didn't change their diet. Do people get like, do they give you like, do they tell you what kind of food to eat or anything like that when you take Ozempic? Do they say, hey, also make sure don't eat things that are too rich or whatever? Like that's what
Yeah.
okay.
They tell you, like, greasy foods,
Mhm.
foods that have been processed, they're going to basically the way it, like I don't know how I'm not gonna get into specifics, but basically, it's like the way that it breaks apart the parts of the food,
Mhm.
to digest them, it's harder for it to happen with a really oily based, diet.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
It's kind of like dumping when you have the weight loss surgery, right? Where they just if they eat things that are too greasy, then it just kind of goes whoo right out.
Yeah. And I think part of that too is that not only does it go right through you, but then it creates all that extra gas and all that
Mhm.
uncomfortable. But but yeah, I really a lot of the thoughts and things like that around food, you're not interested in it. So it must do something to your brain to stop that the any kind of like thought of, oh hey, maybe I should eat. Like I had to remind myself to be like, hey, I should eat something or I'm probably gonna pass out,
Oh, yeah, no,
like
I don't ever need to be reminded to eat, but, yeah, like I said, I'm always trying to eat for my brain because I can feel when my brain's like, "I need food, I need water,"
right?
and then my brain goes, "Okay, do something about it." But, yeah, Ozempic, it seems like that kind of masks that. I think also there's some absorption issues in the gut, right? So that's partly why the antidepressant stuff aren't being absorbed properly, and also certain nutrients are just gonna go right through you because it's not absorbing it's slowing down the absorption, I believe, in your tummy, right?
Yes, and so I think that's why they're having all the problems with, the stomach paralysis and the,
Mhm.
blockages because it's just not breaking down food the same way it should.
But it's
It's making
magic,
it a slow
Murph, it's magic.
Yeah,
People in Hollywood
it's
love it.
I if my doctor says the word gold standard again, and when I go see her at the end of October, I'm just gonna be like, "Okay, we're done." Like, I'm gonna find a new doctor, like,
Sit and spin.
I can't deal with weight loss surgery is the gold standard right now, but Ozempic's gonna be the gold standard in the future, like, okay, you can't take one to replace the other, they're all shit.
Yeah,
They're
pretty
all
much,
shit.
yeah. Yep, and I know lots of people that had weight loss surgery 2 times, and they're all fat again, so it's not really the gold standard. Murph, you have such a pretty face. I'm transitioning.
Sometimes the
I'm
rest of my body,
transitioning into
though.
our microaggression discussion.
So, we had someone reach out to us and ask about how you handle microaggressions. Um, I think there's a couple ways that we can have this discussion.
Sure.
I look at it as, um there's pretty much 3 options. You can address it and call it out and educate them as one. You could ignore it, or you could have a passive aggressive response in return.
Yep.
I don't know. What do you think, Crystal? Are there other ways that you feel like you could address it?
No, I mean, I'm to the point where I just address it right up front, and I'll even just say something equally as rude back to them. But, I'm old and haggard and grizzled and just like, "Fuck you. I'm so sick of this." And people tell, "Oh, I don't maybe that's not what they meant." Yeah, I've been fat since the 3rd grade. I'm 55. I know what they meant, okay? There's no doubt about it in my mind. I know. I, I don't doubt that I know, because this is my life, that I live life. I know when people are being, they're trying to say something like, "Oh, you're such a pretty face," you know. Well, what about the rest of me? That's a fucking microaggression. So I thought you're just pretty. That would be different. If you say you have such a
Exactly.
pretty face, that means, well, that's good news. At least you have a pretty face. The rest of you is ugly, though. I mean, that's what it sounds like to me.
That's exactly what it sounds like. And they all know that. Unless they've, unless they've been hiding under a rock for the majority of their life, they know that. They've seen some sort of passive aggressive response to something where you
Uh-huh.
can see those microaggressions pop up. It depends on the audience for me, I really have to take it in stride sometimes and just say, I'm gonna ignore this and not waste my breath
Yeah.
because this person doesn't deserve my breath. Um, but like you said, feeling that kind of haggard, I'm definitely becoming much more passive aggressive in my responses about it
Hmm.
now. Where I used to be like, hey, that's not cool. Let's talk about how that's not cool and provide them education. Now I'm more like, "Hey, that's not cool, and you're kind of a dumbass for bringing it up."
Yeah.
I'm really like there's it's becoming less and less of a filter. So I think it really depends on who you are to
Hmm.
handle a microaggression, how you comfortable you feel with that audience that stated it to you, and then how much you really want to address
Engage.
it.
Let me tell you one that happened to me that cracks me up still. You know what teppanyaki is, right? When you go out to dinner and it's like Japanese style, and they have you sit around the hot stove and they're cooking all the food for you, and you sit with a bunch of strangers typically, right? So we go out to lunch, teppanyaki, and we end up sitting with 10 people. My boyfriend and I, he sits to my left. There's him and another person to my left. I'm like the third person in, and then there's like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people. And the chef starts doing all the food. He cooks up, some vegetables first, a bunch of, I know I've talked about this on the show before, but like zucchini and just little, they cut it. He chops it up into little pieces and puts a little sauce on it. He goes around the table. He puts a little bit on each plate. Okay, I'm the only fat person out of 10 people here, right? He has some extra vegetables. Guess whose plate he put it on? That would be me. Which awesome, because I love them and I love zucchini and I love all the little stuff they put on it. But I was like, "Okay, I see you, you asshole." Like, and my
Mm.
boyfriend, "Oh, I don't think he meant anything by it." You sure the fuck did. Promise you. He
Oh,
thinks
well.
I need more vegetables because I'm fat. And why didn't he give it to the really pretty lady at the other end of the table, or the tall and thin guy who looks like he's freaking hungry? He gave them to me. I'm the only fat one. That's a microaggression.
That's that's a perfect example of a microaggression.
Yep.
And like you said, like, that's one where you're not gonna educate, right? You're gonna
No.
just enjoy the fact that you got extra veggies
Fuck
because 'cause they're
yeah.
amazing
Expensive.
and and move on with your life.
Mhm.
Yeah, but, when Sally, your coworker, comes up and says, "Are you sure you wanna eat that?" Or whatever it
Do
may
you really need
be.
seconds?
Yes. Whatever that little snarky, undermining kind of comment happens, um, that's when you get to choose, do I want to engage with this person? Um, Sometimes, I've been to places where I've been out in public and someone will make something like that, and I know I'm not going to engage with that person, but I'll just say, "Well, that was a shitty thing to say."
Good for you.
You know, like,
Yeah.
most of the time they're gonna if you say something like that,
Yeah.
I don't need to hear you struggle to figure out how to apologize. I'm just gonna tell you that was shitty. Like, I'm gonna call it what it is, but, if somebody really doesn't get it, and I feel like this may be a light bulb moment for them, I'll
Sure.
take the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, just if you're gonna order dessert, just eat it or don't order it. If you can't eat the whole burger, fine. Take it home. You don't have to make all these, "Oh, I haven't jogged today, so I can only eat half the burger today." Fine. But those are all microaggressions too, okay? Just fucking eat it or don't. Don't order it if you can't eat the whole thing. I don't know. Why do we all have to know? Why? There's 8 of
Yeah,
us at the dinner table. Why do we all need to know that you can only eat half a cheeseburger today? I'm sorry that you can't eat your whole cheeseburger. I feel bad for you. I Terrible. Eat your cheeseburger. don't go out to dinner with friends if you're going to have to make it miserable. All these microaggressions make it miserable for all the. I got to jog tonight. I better jog tonight. I'm like, okay, you go right ahead.
I know, and it makes me just want to be like, oh God, you so need to jog tonight, fatty. Like, because you know that the person who said that doesn't have the weight on them to precipitate that kind of response.
Nope.
It's like I've seen on TikTok, a lot of people are like in the fat community are saying things like when somebody says, you know, oh my God, like, do I look fat in this? I'll be like, what's up, twin? Oh, hey, you know, like, just to like throw it out into their face of like, I'm gonna put it right back on your plate because I don't want this shit. So you take it,
You
you know?
should jog. You need to jog like 10 miles tonight. Woo!
Yeah, I'd kick it up a notch if I were you. You know, like, you have the ability to do that. It's just, do you wanna choose violence? And that's okay. If you decide you wanna choose violence, honey, I guarantee you, you have had enough microaggressions thrown at you that you deserve to choose violence every once in a while.
For sure. Yeah, and I know a lot of my family members, especially my older family members, they still, they love to discuss everybody's body and, "Oh, I saw so and so, and she looks so fit." And I usually just let it go, but I'm like, "What do you mean? What fit how? What do you mean?" They're like, I go, "What? Thinner?" "Well, yeah, but, I'm like, "No, when you say fit, that means thin." I already know what you're trying to say. That's your code for thin, okay? Can we not?
Exactly.
But the older people in my family still do. I can't as much as I try, I've just come exhausted, honestly. Like, I'm just so exhausted.
And that's where it's one of those where it's like, this is not worth the time to have the breath to explain it to somebody because it's gonna go nowhere. I've done lots of things to harm myself to get to the point to try to not look like this and like this. So I'm gonna start liking who I am and not having to worry about any of those other things.
That is
But
fat liberation.
absolutely it is.
And that's what FatCon is gonna be about, right? It's about fat liberation. It's about celebrating fat bodies, celebrating fat people. We don't get celebrated very often. Of course, we get told we're glorifying obesity all the time. No, we're not. We're glorifying living as you are, loving yourself as you are, not worrying about freaking diet. If it was willpower and it was that easy, nobody would be fat, Howard Stern. Nobody.
Right.
Why would nobody would choose this
And then
because it's
you'd have
awful.
exactly. Nobody wants to be made fun of every 5 seconds of their fucking life. I swear to God, it seems like it's nonstop lately.
Well, yeah.
I had somebody that I was previously a friend with, and I found out why I'm not a friend anymore.
Mhm.
They deleted me.
Oh.
But we're on a message board together, and a friend asked me a question about weight, and the response from this person was um, that they stopped following the body positivity movement because it was taken over by fat people, and it was pro fat. So when she got called out for her comments, she said, "I am hardly fat phobic." I said, "Well, hardly isn't I am not."
Yes, right.
You're still leaving, even in your own nomenclature, you're leaving in the words that say that, "Yeah, I'm a little bit.
Right.
I think I'm a little bit fat phobic, or I'm
I'm
a
a little
little
bit
anti-fat,
racist. I'm a little bit
a little bit homophobic." Yeah, yeah. No, it's you're a lot, and you're trying to suppress it as much as you possibly can, and you thought you had an open forum
right.
to come out and say whatever the fuck you wanted to say and not get called out for it. So I get it. Um, but I think that I feel like I'm constantly saying right now, do the work.
Yeah.
Do the work. Like, just figure it out because you're bleeding on everybody.
Yep. It's kind of like slaying the patriarchy. Sometimes I just get so exhausted by it all and, slaying the fat phobic people and just like men ruining a lot of things, I'm so tired sometimes. It's exhausting, all of it.
I know. I love it when they have those like social justice self-care courses,
Yeah.
or
Mhm.
it's like it's so necessary because there's only so much you can constantly be screaming, and I feel like I scream this all day
Me too.
because
Yeah.
all day I'm berated with microaggressions.
Yep.
All day. I
Yep.
can point I would say on an average daily basis, I'm dealing with at least a dozen comments in one fashion or
I'm
another.
not surprised. That sounds about right. Yeah.
And how do you function in a regular, life of just, do you address all of them? No, you can't. So I think the biggest thing from the microaggression talk is like, if you're experiencing that, just try to step back as much as you possibly can and be like, how much is this impacting me, not the other person?
Yeah.
How much is this impacting me, and what do I need to do to protect myself from it?
Yep. It's great advice. I think it's important to decide, who you want to flip off and who you just want to walk away from.
Absolutely.
It's not worth it
Yep.
sometimes. Anyway, tough topic. And also internalized fat
Yeah.
phobia is a mother effer. Fat people are often the people that are, doling out the microaggressions.
And a lot of them come from folks that are in the I would say what I would consider like the uptick of like, "Oh, I'm feeling good about myself because I've lost weight," or whatever it is.
Mhm.
Guess what, honey? That pendulum comes swinging back down, and it's gonna go far the other
It's
way,
so
and
hard.
you haven't done the work to stop it.
Yep.
So when it happens, it's gonna come crashing down, and I'm not gonna be there to help you pick up the pieces.
No way, man. It's not your job.
So do the work.
Do the work, damn
Mm,
it.
yeah. And come to FatCon so that we can do fun stuff and not talk about stupid bullshit or have to worry about this.
Yeah, come dance and
That's one
eat with
thing about
us.
Fat
We can all eat in front of each other and not worry if anybody's judging us. And oh, she's having a second helping of mashed potatoes. Just do whatever you want to do, just like other people do, like all the thin people do. They just eat and do whatever the hell they want, and nobody even judges them. So that's what I want for my life. That's FatCon's going to give that to us, and we can't. So excited, and we get to be really involved. It's just be so much fun. Anyway, I digress.
So one thing that we always talk about that is a struggle when it comes to weight or fatness or all those kind of things is the concept that people think that fat people don't have sex, and we are here to prove wrong. And I know that we had quite a generous offer from one of our sponsors. Jump into the vibe of the week.
Thank you, Merf. Yes, so exciting. I don't know if you know if these are, but these are restraints. I got to test out something. I happen to sort of complain on a group that I belong to that is a bunch of people who sell sex toys. And I said, how come so few people design sex toys for us? And this guy from Liberator said, hey, are you fat? And I go, yeah. He goes, we're trying some new stuff. We want to see if this is going to work for fat people or not. Would you try it out? That would be a yes. So I did. And it's called the Scoop Rocker. And it kind of looks like a half of a, if you took a muffin and if you cut off the top, the arched part, the good part of the muffin, the one with all the blueberries or all the chocolate chips or all the fiber. It looks like a top of a muffin. It's like a muffin top. And then it rocks on one side on the oval side, and then the other side it's flat, like a straight flat, like the ground flat. And you can either use it to rock or just lie flat on it. And also, if you want to, the walls have Velcro on them, and they created these little goodies. I know people who are just listening can't see them, but they'll be on our video on YouTube. But they have these little tiny, I'm gonna make the sound that makes like Velcro sound. I'm really sorry to our editor who's gonna have to hear this in a second. It's gonna make that sound. These little guys, hear that sound? These little like
I know that's
I know.
it makes me excited.
Yes, right? So they're like 4 inches long, and they're made from that material, and the side of the wall of the Scoop Rocker is made of Velcro, so you can put these little doodads, for lack of a better word, anywhere you want to, depending on your size of your body. And then you can use the restraints on the side to restrain the person, or you can be restrained, and you can use it to put your ankles or your wrists into it, and you're kind of like on this rocker. And what they're trying to figure out is it wide enough? Is it big enough for people of size? I said, you know what? It is. It's 2 feet wide. It supported my entire butt. And like all the Liberator products, I know you know this, Smurf. We talk about this all the time. Well before they were a sponsor, you and I loved Liberator products. They hold up to my girth. They hold up to my weight. And this Scoop Rocker definitely held up to my weight. I could lay on it. I could be on all fours on it. I could do all kinds of things on it. I used it to stretch out my back. Oh my God, that felt so good. Because it's an arch, so I had it flat on the ground. Then I just stretched over it on the, with my face up. Oh, I got a good stretch from that. It's like, oh, it feels so good. So much fun. And it rocks if you want to. And also you can you keep in rhythm with your partner and they can kind of keep you in rhythm as it's rocking back and forth. Or you can turn around, like I said, and put the flat side down and just use it for support to hold up my booty. And if you wanted, like, let's say deeper penetration or maybe oral, giving the oral might be easier for somebody to giving oral to a woman of size, because then things can kind of become more easily attainable. Sometimes, when larger women sometimes have smaller clitorises or our labia can start to kind of, like, I want to say, like, keep the clitoris more hidden. It's easier if you're kind of
Mhm.
laid back and you can kind of, the person can see and get to your clitoris more easily. There's so many ways to use it. It's beautiful, just like all the products from Liberator. So much fun. 4.5 stars out of 5. The only thing I didn't like about it is that they sent me a white one, which I think, I don't know, you can throw the cover in the washer and the dryer, just like all the Liberated products. It has that lovely fat zipper on there. So if you do wash it and dry it, or, you can even just dry it on top of the dryer or whatever, air dry it. You put it right back in, the zipper works, it all fits again. It's like all their products. I love it, but I just wish it wasn't white. But that's just a personal thing. I like purples and black. And when it comes to sex, I want darker colors usually. And yeah, it just goes in the washer and the dryer just like all the other toys. It's so great. Love it.
Nice. I was wondering if you would still have, like, the benefit of when you flipped it over to the flat part, that sort of scoop giving you the ability to kinda
Yep.
put your butt more firmly up in the air, so that's good to hear. Ooh, I'm
Absolutely.
excited.
For oral, for sex, for doggy style, for on your back style. It's super wide. And I measure it's 2 feet. My butt fits entirely on it. I wear like a size 28-30 pants from, the Avenue or Lane Bryant or Catherine's. And it works for
Yeah.
my butt. My butt was not hanging off of it. And yeah, it's much bigger than an airplane seat, which are 17 inches. The scoop rocker is 24 inches wide and it's perfect. It just was lovely. And of course, the density of the foam is amazing and it holds up to my butt is pretty big. My butt, my thigh, my lower tummy. So it held up to all of that.
That's
Yeah, it was really,
awesome.
really, really
Ooh.
fun. I know, I know. I love the Liberator. I still love them. And yeah, really, these restraints, you can take it on or off the little scoop rocker thingy. And it's like very, you can
Yeah,
make adjustments shorter or longer, depending on how much you need and who you're tying up. And you don't have to use the restraints at all if you don't want. You just have the rocker thingy, the nice cushion, the
right.
sex cushion, basically.
I love that, they've made it so that you can, like, strap it anywhere you want on the sides, because the ones that I have, they're permanently there, so you
Yep.
can't move them around, so
Right.
that's exciting.
At first, we didn't quite get it. I was like, this seems janky. And then I was like, but fix this one because this one's bugging me. And I was like, oh, okay. Now I see why we have that movable. And it's very flexible. You can make it for a really tall person or a shorter person. It just gives you a lot more. Yeah, it could just adapt to all kinds of different bodies and heights and weights and everything.
That's so
I know they're thinking
cool.
everything. Like, I'm so happy they're thinking of us.
Yes,
They have
absolutely,
that black
and
label
wanting to
line, right?
yeah, the Black Label line, is their restraint line,
Mm-mm.
but the plus size line, they've got, like, I'd say at least a half a dozen, if not more products, for the plus size, furniture. So I like you said, you're getting a good quality product when you're getting a Liberator product.
Yep.
They're not the cheapest, but, did they give you, like, what the MSRP is on that normally?
I think people retail it for about. They're going to retail it for about 325, possibly. But
Okay.
all that is about the same as the rest of their products. And the thing is, they last forever. So sex blankets, all of that stuff. Oh yeah, we had a giveaway, by the way, and I did. I sent out an email to our 3 winners. I only heard back from one of them, but we Liberator gave us 3 sex blankets to give away. So I'm waiting to hear from the other 2 people. I'm going to put their names in the newsletter. But yeah, Liberator products, my sex blankets last forever. Yeah, everything holds up to the washer and dryer. And I know we say this over and over in our episodes. I love their products. I've always been a fan. And now they figured out a way to make it easier to ship across the country. So if you order it from somewhere, they make it really small and they suck all the air out of it and make it tiny so they can put it in a
Mhm.
smaller box. I know they
Nice.
thought of everything now. They're good products. They're pricey, but you'll have them forever and ever. If you don't, you can just tell people it's for yoga.
Investment.
Yeah, but you could just leave it in your living room. It's a bean bag for all they know, you know?
Right. Yeah, they have no concept of
Not at all.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I'm very
I'm
impressed. I'm so
excited.
excited. And the only other company that I know that specifically makes products for us is Sports Sheets, right? They make the doggy style
Mhm.
strap and a couple other things that are extra wide or long for people of size. So, man, the sex toy industry has a long ways to go for us. We like with Big Fig, right? They're even doing the fat people have sex too for their mattress marketing because we have
Yeah.
money to spend on it. We want it the good stuff. Merf and I know I call us sex toy snobs. We both like the good stuff, and I'm 55. I don't want anything they sell at Spencer's. I just don't. I'm way
Exactly.
beyond that
I don't
now.
need $3 made from, like, polyurethane. Like, I don't need any of that crap. Like, nope, I'm not into the novelty of it. I want a sex toy that's gonna last, that is an investment
Yes,
that I know I'm gonna get good use out
I
of.
agree.
Um, because, it's go hard. Like,
Yeah.
you
Also,
should
it's
have
like,
to
no fast fashion, no fast sex toy, no fast I don't know what you call it. No junk.
yeah,
No junk in my drawer
exactly.
anymore. I threw all the junk away.
Yeah,
It's
same
to be
here.
too much,
Oh,
yeah.
that's good.
Yeah, I highly
I'm
recommend it.
excited. Okay, I'm
Woohoo!
gonna definitely have to look. Yep. I've been looking at that, chaise lounge that they have.
Yeah,
I just every time I see it, I'm like, "Oh, I
I
just want
know.
that because it looks sexy. It's so
It's very
curvy
sexy,
and
yeah.
yeah,
I always tell the
mm,
people when I go to the
okay,
Hustler store here, I'm like, "I'm moving in, okay?" I
right.
want to
Oh
live
my
there.
gosh,
They have all the beautiful Liberator stuff, and they have this big, huge charging table. They have all these beautiful
yeah,
high-end dildos on it. Oh, heaven.
so nice,
I wanna move in.
right? I know, I'm always like, "Maybe I should just get a part-time job there so that I get the discount and I can just be in the environment all the time." Like, I'm just like I talk myself out of it all the time, but I think about it a lot.
Let's just podcast and work at a sex toy store.
Ooh, I love it. I'm in.
That's my
Let's make it
goal.
happen.
Yeah, right? Oh, if only, if only. All right. Well, I think that's about all I have to say about the Scoop Rockers. Anything else you want to add to that, or what? We need people to follow us on Instagram, and we would love people to sign up for our newsletter. We have about 1,000 people that have approved us to send them newsletter stuff. I send it twice a month. Just go to BigSexyChat.com, and that's our handle on Instagram and everywhere else. I really want to get up to 1,000 fans on Instagram. We're just under 900 right now, but I'd like to get it up there a little
Ooh.
higher.
Ooh, I think we have a marketing campaign on our
We
hands.
do.
Share with your friends.
Hmm.
I think that's one of the biggest things I've been seeing a lot lately is, like, supporting small businesses or supporting your friend's venture. It doesn't always mean, like, spending money. I mean, yes, we'd love it if you spent, $2 on
Hmm.
coffee for us for that would be great. Um, but if you can't do that because groceries are, like
Expensive.
$1,000 right
Yeah.
now, then share our content.
Yep.
Share with your friends because it's like, that old saying, if you tell 2 people, then they tell 2 people, and then they tell 2 people, and then our network is growing, growing, growing. So, um, do your best to share content of the
Right.
people that are making content that
Yep.
you know and that you support and appreciate. So,
That's huge.
you can follow us on all the socials at Big Sexy Chat.
Oh, I do have one other thing to tell you. I haven't told you this yet. My friend Tony Tales, the artist, she's making some window clings for me. The ones that you can put on your car that tell people that you have a big butt and please don't park too closely. We kind of came up with a little spin on that, and I think we're going to launch those next weekend. So around the second weekend in October, for those of you who are listening at a different time, I should have some fun stuff to show people, some stickers and some window clings that you can put on your car that let people know I'm going to need more space to get out of this car. Please don't park too closely. So we came up with some cute ideas. So we're going to launch that next weekend.
I love
So
it.
fun. Awesome. Great catching up with you.
Yeah, you too.
See you later, alligator.
After a while, crocodile.
Bye.